Sam Levitt is focused on getting better every day, but that doesn't mean he's not focused on the massive goals and expectations he has.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, and I am your expert and guide for all things Sun Devils, from the gridiron to the hardwood and everything in between. I'll keep you posted. On today's show, Sam Leavitt focused on trying to get better and better every day. Sure, we hear you there, but what about those massive expectations? Well, he's not backing down off of those. What is realistic? What can he obtain? All that on today's show. Before we get started, a shout out to my everydayers who are here every single day. Okay, so Sam Leavitt, he's pretty good. Coming off of a season where he won Big 12 Freshman of the Year. Coming off a season where he was second team all-conference, only behind Shedeur Sanders. And coming off a year where he led Arizona State to its first ever college football playoff appearance. And it's not like Arizona State has never been close. The first ever college football playoff season, 2014. ASU at one point was the number 6 team in the nation. They were right there. They were on the cusp of being able to get to that point, or at least go to consecutive Pac-12 championship games and try and get it from there. So it's not like ASU's never been close. They have. But Sam Leavitt's the one that got them over the top. Sam Leavitt helped ASU do something that they've never done before in program history, and that's win a conference title game. Now, yes, ASU has won previously the WAC and the Pac-10 before, but those were never through a championship game. ASU was 0-3 in Pac-10/Pac-12 championship games when they were introduced. Because back then, it was just whoever finished atop the ranking, that's who won it. Kind of like in the NFL. Whoever finishes first in the NFC West, in the AFC North, in the NFC South, that is your champion of that division. It's not like that in college football anymore. Now it is based off of first place versus second place in the rankings, and then the winner of that game is your conference champion. So yeah, ASU has previously won conference titles. They've never won a conference title championship game. That changed this past year when they spanked, and I mean, it was a beatdown of Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. Their first year in the Big 12, ASU won it. Remember, ASU was picked to finish dead last in the Big 12. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that a little bit later on the show for good reason, not just to feed a fed horse. Don't worry about that. But so much of it came because of Sam Leavitt and the way he played. And Sam Leavitt played good football last year. You could see from the start of the season to the end of the season that he had just grown substantially. I remember that the first month of the season, going into the bye week after the Texas Tech game, Sam was just not connecting on the deep ball. He wasn't connecting with anyone, not Jordan Tyson, not Melcon Stovall, not Jake Smith. Like, they just couldn't get it going. And that is what it is. I had said going into the year, hey, that's something to watch. But if it's not there, then it's not there. It's important to remember this is a redshirt freshman. He only played in 3 games at Michigan State before transferring to ASU. So that first month of the season, that's not there. I said on the show something along the lines of, move on. You know, there's things that he does very well. He is a great runner. He can pass in the intermediate game. Like, let's focus on that, and we can develop the deep ball later on in the offseason or anything like that. Well, by the end of the year, I mean, Sam was just throwing darts down the field. Was it perfect? No. But you want to talk about a massive, massive increase and difference from week 1 to the Big 12 championship game. I mean, it was unrecognizable the way that he was putting that ball down the field. And I mean, he just looked more confident down the stretch. He was placing the football in tighter windows than he would have been at the beginning of the season. And he was just making really good touch passes. He had created such a terrific chemistry with Jordan Tyson, number one receiver, who is back again this year, by the way, that it just felt easy. Those two were sharing a brain. They had telepathy. They were just always on the same page, and it led to big numbers. It was a great season for Sam Leavitt. There's always room to grow, especially for a redshirt freshman. And that's something that Leavitt has continually emphasized for himself. When he is asked, when he has conversations about, hey, what are your goals this offseason? It almost always revolves around, I'm trying to be the best player I can be. So I want to go back to a comment that he made last week where he was asked about, why didn't you transfer? There was a lot of money on the table to go play for another program. And he had said, what's a few $100,000 when you're at a program that's preparing you to get to the next level? I said back then, and I say now, that is insane for a young man to say that. Like, if I was offered a few $100,000, I'm probably transferring. Like, I'm really thinking about it. That's money that really can start to turn your life around. Is it life-changing money? No, but holy cow, does that get you back in a great situation? That can help you, that can help your family. That's a lot of moolah. And yet he was like, nope, I'm interested in staying here. And that's a huge deal because we saw the improvement that he had last year with the coaching staff and the talent around him. And not a lot of that changed. The coaching staff is all there, in fact, and the majority of the rest of the offense is there. He still has his number one receiver. 4 of the 5 offensive linemen are back. The tight ends are back. It's a good situation that Leavitt is going to be playing in this year, which makes sense why he would say, why would I go somewhere else? Now, if you lost a bunch of guys, right? If Jordan Tyson's gone, the offensive line's gone, you already lost Cam Scadaboo. Yeah, maybe then he takes a look at a program that is interested in getting him up. Maybe Ole Miss calls him, or Ohio State calls him, or Miami calls him. Miami feels really realistic. But, maybe then you have that conversation about entering the transfer portal and going someplace that can get you to the pros. But he loves the situation that he has here. And that's clearly the driving force for his season. Now, he's made some major goals for himself. We're talking about that in a little bit. But the main focus of every conversation he has had, and this is why you can take it to the bank when he says, this is what I'm focusing on, because it has nothing to do with like changing every single time. It has nothing to do with, what's the media going to want to hear today? How can I get the spotlight on myself? Sam Leavitt could easily put the spotlight on himself, coming off of a season where a program came out of nowhere as a Cinderella team. He could milk the you-know-what out of the spotlight that is being presented to him and this program right now. But he's not. Instead, he is focusing on himself. There's no media bites that you're getting out of this because that all sorts of different outlets would love those quotes to have comments on outside of Arizona State. We can have the comments here with all the other podcasts that cover Arizona State about the things that Sam Leavitt says because it's relevant to us and we can have a stronger conversation about it. But, guys at ESPN or any other place like that, yeah, it's harder for them to have a strong national conversation about it because he's keeping the focus on himself. That's what's so exciting here. And if he is going to focus on certain things, there's 3 things for me that I want to take a look at. First of all, I need him to start being more comfortable in the pocket, hanging in the pocket, and not looking to run as quickly as he does. We definitely saw that down the stretch. In the beginning of the season, and I've said this many times and I'll continue to say this, Sam Leavitt is a dual threat quarterback. That's not a quarterback who is sneaky athletic. It's not a quarterback who's mobile. It is a dual threat quarterback. That's what Sam Leavitt is. He had nearly 600 rushing yards last year if you were to provide him sack yards that were lost, which I will fight to the day I die that is the stupidest thing that college football does. It's not close. It's sack yardage. Just awful. But, Sam is a terrific runner. terrific, phenomenal. But we also saw that he's a good passer. Hence why I want to see him hang in the pocket a little bit more. Trust your arm. Trust the fact that you can get more yardage down the field by hanging in there a little bit longer or maybe improvising and, trying that Russell Wilson kind of stuff where, like, yeah, maybe I have to break out of the pocket and my receivers can break down their routes and just find ways to get open. I would love to see that, but I definitely want the pocket presence to increase. I also want to see those progressions start getting a little bit more extensive. And a huge part of that goes with the philosophy of going to take off and everything. He ran a lot in the Texas game. Part of that is because he had to. But there's another part of you that understands that, like, hey, you can handle this. You're more than capable. You're more than talented enough to keep those eyes down the field. And he did, but there's just a lot of work to be done. Last thing I want to mention, just get down, man. Just get down. Don't take those big hits. He was really bad about that in the beginning of the season. He took a really hard hit against Utah that knocked him out for a game against Cincinnati, which ASU ultimately lost. Now, that hit, I would call that pretty unavoidable because I think he would have gone down if he needed to, because by that point in the season, it seemed like he was starting to figure out, like, hey, I should probably start getting down and just, when the ride's over, the ride's over. But he was wrapped up by a Utah defender and then got popped. So I don't put that on him personally. But this all kind of culminates together with Sam understanding, hey, these are things I want to work on. And I'm sure he has his own stuff that he wants to work on. He's not concerned with what Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils says. There's stuff that Sam Leavitt is working on. There's stuff that offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo and head coach Kenny Dillingham have pointed out to him for him to continue to work on. But every time you talk to him, he doubles down on, I'm working on making myself a better player. He doubles down on, I did have transfer offers. I did have tons of money thrown at me, but I'm not interested in going anywhere. The focus has and will continue to be on himself to become a better football player, and that needs to be applauded. It truly, truly does. Now, he hasn't backed off of the massive goals and expectations that he has for himself and this program. That's a good thing. Coming up next, this is the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let me talk about our friends over at FanDuel, because the NBA playoffs, we're in the championship now. And hopefully you didn't get burned by, you know what happened. The NBA finals the other night. I got burned because I really like the Thunder. But you know what? Pacers are going to make this a heck of a series. And that's why you should be getting in on FanDuel to up the excitement a little bit for yourself. It's easy to stay in the game before tip-off. You can play live. There's player props. There's performance trends. There's same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Who are the players that are going to show up in the big moments? You should be tracking their trends. And FanDuel is going to help you with that. You can see those live bets and those live props and the mid-game based on how the action will unfold for you. And the best part about all of this is new customers will get $200 in bonus bets to add to the excitement if your first $5 bet wins. If you're new to FanDuel, now's the perfect time to sign up and go and take advantage of that. Head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks, as always, for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils to make us your first listen of the day. And a shout out to my everydayers who are here every single day. Sam Leavitt is focused on himself. That's great news. But Sam Leavitt is also not backing down on the massive goals and expectations that this program has and that even he's embracing a little bit. And it's fun to see. So in case you're under a rock and you're not sure what's going on, the program for Arizona State Sun Devils football is buzzing right now. It's buzzing with the fan base. It's buzzing with the players. There is a ton of excitement for this team. And the expectations, as Kenny Dillingham worded it last year, the minimum expectation is getting raised every year. Last year, coming off a 3-win season, that minimum expectation was raised, probably looking at a bowl game. My early season prediction last year was 7-5 going to a bowl game. It was not an 11-win team. But you know what? That ends up happening. But when you do that, that minimum expectation increases substantially. It becomes a much bigger expectation, a much bigger goal that you're setting for yourself. That's not a bad thing. It's a very, very good thing that you were able to get yourself on track as quickly as you are. It should be applauded. And Sam Levitt is embracing that. Sam Levitt understands, like, hey, there's a lot of good stuff going on with this program right now. That's why I stayed. But, with me, Sam Levitt, staying at this program, that just means that the expectations are going to stay high, potentially get even higher. And I'm about it. I love it. Sam Levitt feasts on the competition. He says, let's do it. Bring it on. All that good stuff. Those expectations, national championship and Heisman Trophy. Here's the thing. Those are legitimately the highest expectations that you could possibly place on yourself if you are a college football player. The Heisman Trophy, I'm not going to lie. Maybe I'm biased because of how much I love college football, but I don't know if there is another award in sports, collegiate or pro, football, hockey, baseball. I don't care. Basketball, cricket, rugby, tennis, whatever. I truly don't know if there's an award that has as much meaning as the Heisman Trophy does. If I were an athlete, I could go any direction, whatever. I would want to go to college football and win the Heisman Trophy. That's the one that you want. So when you have that expectation and that goal to win a Heisman Trophy, you need to understand that you are asking to do something that it's not impossible, but my goodness, you're competing with thousands of players across the country. It's not just in your conference. It's guys on your own team. It's guys who play at the biggest of programs like Alabama. It's guys who dominate lower level competition at Boise State. There's so many guys who will be competing for this award. So when you say, yeah, I expect myself to contend and win the Heisman Trophy, that's insane. It's also worth noting that no player in the history of Arizona State Sun Devils football has ever won the Heisman Trophy. The closest ASU finished was in 1996 when Jake Plummer was top 5 in voting. I believe he was top 3. He was top 5 for sure. That is the best that ASU has ever finished with Heisman voting for any player at any position at any point in time from the 70s to last year. Cam Scadaboo finished 5th last year. That was pretty good. Probably should have finished higher. That's pretty much it, man. Like this is an award that ASU has never seen before. Speaking of awards that ASU's never seen before, how about a national championship? ASU has never won a national championship. Now, I could sit here and stir the pot and tell you that ASU was absolutely screwed out of a national championship in 1975. They were potentially screwed out of one in 1987. It's 87 or 86 when they won a Rose Bowl over Michigan, by the way. I could sit here and talk about that all day, how ASU was screwed out in national championships in the past, but that's not the point. The point is that ASU's never won a national championship before. So similar to what you're talking about with winning a Heisman Trophy, you have a goal, maybe even for himself, an expectation to win a national championship. That's as bold as it's going to get, ladies and gentlemen. That's huge. That's a lot. There's a lot of teams that you're competing with. There's a lot of teams that you're competing with. Within your own conference, there are 15 other programs that you're going up against. Very good programs, too. Texas Tech, Baylor, BYU, Kansas State, TCU, Utah, Iowa State. A lot of programs that you're going to be competing with this year. Winning your conference by itself, it's not going to be easy. So that's already a task. You also have the fact that the 12-team playoff, which I am 95% positive will be getting the change. I know that they discussed the format change. I don't know if that gets implemented this year. I'm pretty positive that it does. Will make things a bit more interesting as well to see if ASU can find their way into the postseason. But, from there, it's just about getting hot and playing good football. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show as well. But getting back to Sam Leavitt, when you're talking about attaining the highest goals possible for a collegiate football player, a Heisman Trophy and a national championship, it does not get bigger than that collegiately. I mean, that's going to come out as crazy talk for the vast majority of people. In fact, if ASU did not do what they did last year and Sam Leavitt said, yeah, I'm going to win a Heisman Trophy, I'm going to win a national championship, everyone in the world is going to be like, who are you? What tree are you barking up right now? Because that was probably the goal last offseason was for this team to win the Big 12. They were picked dead last. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But having those goals, yeah, sometimes they can be blindingly insane. Sometimes Richie Bradshaw is going to get on the mic and he's going to say, Sam, I love you. That is bananas. BANANANAS. That's just crazy. But I mean, at the same time, that's kind of the way I want my guys to think. I want my players, quarterback or otherwise, to have the confidence and the mentality to shoot for the moon. I don't want someone who's, shooting for average. I don't want someone who is interested in being adequate. If Sam Leavitt came out last year and said, yeah, we want to go to a bowl game, like you take that for sure because consecutive three-win seasons, yeah, that's awesome. We didn't hear Sam Leavitt say, hey, we want to win the Big 12. Because if he had said that, people would have thought he was crazy. Now, he still had that goal. There's not a doubt in my mind. But now you're getting more vocal about it, and there's a little bit more substance behind it for why it is possible. But that's what I want from my players is I want them to have the confidence in themselves and the confidence in the program that they will be able to go out and do and achieve such massive goals for themselves. Having that confidence is a powerful mentality, and it's going to help ASU stay as good as they were last year because he's going to help hold guys accountable and he's going to continue becoming a good football player the way that he has already said. All those things coincide with each other. Okay, how realistic is this stuff? Is Sam Leavitt just making claims that won't happen? That's coming up next. It's the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. You guys are the best, as always, for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils and making us your first listen of the day. Shout out my everydayers who are here every single day. How realistic are these goals, are these expectations that Sam Leavitt is placing on himself and placing on this team? Well, first of all, we can start with this. This is truly like shoot for the moon kind of goals. It's never been done. Neither of these have ever been done for ASU. ASU has never had a Heisman Trophy winner, and they have never won a national championship. These are about as big a goals as you're going to get. That's big goals expectations for a player at Ohio State. If Jeremiah Smith, their star receiver, maybe the best player in college football, comes out and he says, yeah, I want to win a Heisman Trophy and I want to win a national championship. That's bold. That's big expectations that you're placing on yourself. Yeah, Ohio State just won a national championship game. And sure, let's try it again. They're trying to run it back with a different team because they lost so many guys, but it's Ohio State. So, yeah, Jeremiah Smith could come out and say, I want a Heisman Trophy, I want a national championship. That's crazy. It truly is. If Ryan Williams did that at Alabama, I want a Heisman Trophy, I want to win a national championship. That's crazy. Those are huge expectations. If the quarterback at Georgia, it's not coming to me right now, were to come out and say that. I want a Heisman Trophy. I want to win a national championship. That's crazy. Those are huge expectations to place on any program. Placing it on Arizona State, it's maybe bigger expectations because it's something that's never been done before. But any program, any player can say those things, and it is a massive expectation. So I want to get that out of the way because people are going to see that and they're going to be like, really? Really, Arizona State? Why is Arizona State talking right now? You know, who is Arizona State? 1 year of success, and you're going to be barking up this tree? Yeah, it is tough. It is bold. It is something that you wouldn't expect to see. But it's just as crazy for other programs to say. Take that for what it's worth. Now, moving on from that, how realistic are these goals? Unrealistic, but attainable. The reason I say that is to beat the same drum over and over again. ASU has never done these things before. ASU is coming off an 11-win season. They haven't done that in a long time. I was a tyke who didn't care about football back then when they last won 11 games. This is 1 year of success coming off of one of the worst situations an NCAA program has ever seen. There's a lot that's going on at Arizona State. So having those expectations after 1 year, yeah, it's pretty unrealistic. We can call it what it is. We can call it what it is. That is unrealistic, but it's attainable. And the reason why I say it's attainable is simply this. Arizona State made the playoff last year. Arizona State won the Big 12 championship. Arizona State played in the Peach Bowl against a Texas Longhorns team who was talented enough to go to the national championship game. And they took them to the wire. You were one play away from taking them down. You took that team to double overtime nonetheless before the wheels came off. And you know what? Richie Bradshaw is not a moral wins guy. Wins are wins, losses are losses. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. I'm not a moral wins guy, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just not. But that doesn't mean that you can't take stuff out of that and apply it moving forward. So I can look at it and go, hey, they did it once. Who's to say they can't do it again? Especially the same team. Almost the same team. Cam Scadaboo is gone. Most of the receivers are gone. Leaf Otanu is gone. Shamari Simmons is gone. Caleb McCullough is gone. Most of that team is back, man. That's a good-looking team. So if Sam Leavitt holds up his end of the bargain, then yeah, it is possible. It is attainable. Even if it's a 1% chance, a 1 in a million shot. Now, if a 3-9 Arizona State team said, hey, we're going to win a national championship, you're not even looking at them. You're like, okay, relax, dude. You know, go ahead and turn off college football 25. That's what you're sitting there and you're looking at. But it's attainable. How about the Heisman Trophy? Yeah, that's attainable. Why not? Is it likely? Probably not. There's a lot of really good competition this year. Cade Klubnik at Clemson. We already mentioned Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. We mentioned Ryan Williams at Alabama. You've got all sorts of quarterbacks across the country. Drew Aller, Arch Manning, that are going to be contending for that. You've got running backs like Jeremiah Love and Mekhi Hughes, who are going to be taking a look at that. There's a lot of competition. There's defensive players. Colin Simmons is going to be someone who's looking to win a Heisman Trophy. So it is a crazy, crazy claim, but it's attainable. The reason why, we mentioned it earlier, whole damn team is back. The coaching staff that helped develop him from the start of the season to the end of the season, where he went from college quarterback to future first-round draft pick. That's all back. They're going to be able to help him take that next step. Cam Scadaboo's gone. That's huge. Most of the receiving room is gone. That is huge. But he's got Jordan Tyson back. And at the end of the day, that might be all he needs is Jordan Tyson. But the tight end room, it's getting stronger. They do have a strong running back room. Malik Brown is healthy. Kyson Brown is back. And they added Kanye Udo, who ran for 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards at Army last year. The offensive line has 4 of their 5 starters back. They are in a perfect position to run things back with Sam Leavitt. And if he were to play at the pace that he was playing on at the end of the season, those last 6 games, right? Then yeah, that's a Heisman Trophy caliber player. And if he's improving the way that he is expecting to, yeah, that is 100% someone who can win a Heisman Trophy. These are massive expectations. There's no dodging that. But Sam Leavitt, he's saying, why not? We can look at winners and losers and awards and titles and how history has stacked those up. We have your blue blood schools. We have positions that typically win the major awards more than others. Is it realistic? I mean, it's not impossible. It is certainly within the realm of possibilities for this team. They went toe to toe with Texas last year. They could have easily beat them if better play calling existed, or if they had played a full 60 minutes. That was there. Do they beat Ohio State? Probably not, but it's something that could have happened. Everything is back. Sam Leavitt is going to be improving. So yeah, this is possible. Anything is possible when you have the situation that Arizona State is running back this year. The expectations are through the roof from the media, from the fans, certainly from the fans. And even this team and these players are all going to have that expectation. Is it realistic? It's not impossible. It's attainable. There's a lot of things that are lining up in favor of Arizona State to be able to take that next step. So Sam Leavitt, he's got the big goals. He wants a natty. He wants a Heisman. But more than anything, and he continues to state this over and over and over again. And that's what makes this so important. He's focused on being a better football player for himself, for his NFL prospects, for his team, and for the team's success. Yeah, he's got the big goals. But at the end of the day, every single time you ask him, hey, what are you hoping to do this year? It's the same answer every time. I want to be a better football player. I want to be a better football player. That's why I'm still here. And that's something worth noting. What do you guys think? Is Sam Leavitt out of his mind for winning a national championship and a Heisman Trophy? But more importantly, what are you looking forward to this year from Sam Leavitt? What do you want to see improve? All that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitter at Richie Bradshaw36. And the podcast is there at LO_Sun Devils, wherever you're getting your shows. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. You'll get an update whenever we post new content. I appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning into Locked On Sun Devils to make us your first listen of the day. Shout out to my everydayers who are here every day. I appreciate you guys. It may be the summertime, but we're still going to give you great content for Arizona State Sun Devils football. And if anything happens with basketball or, anything else noteworthy, we'll keep you posted on all of that. And I'll catch you next time. Till then, you keep it logged right here on Locked On Sun Devils.